Morning, everyone. And it is Friday, which for everybody else is like, thank goodness. And for me, I'm like, crap, I've got too much work to do. Always happens. So, good morning, Brent. I am getting to work. I think I'm getting to work. I don't know what the heck I am. All right. So, a buddy of mine is looking to do, or has a cosplayer buddy who is willing to give the uniforms of Bellatrix Rising a try. So I figured I will make uh, a uniform sort of worksheet, so to speak, so that you can see all of the bits and pieces. With high detail levels and stuff like that. It'd be useful for me and useful for whoever does this. So I agree. This way. There we go. So we're going to do some detail work on parts of the uniform.
I prefer I not brush my teeth.
Right? Makes me better. Ain't you fluff? You're fluff. We get the whole fam Daniel in here. He's like, back to the sink.
Quick. One more extra.
Right? Brent says hi.
Hi.
Oh, Zigbee control. Yeah. I thought about those, or at least considered it for a while. I had nothing really to say. It's okay. I'm not terrible worried. Oh man, we're already having connection issues. So yesterday there was an update to Restream that says we've been noticing we have a lot of problems keeping connection. We're working on that. So apparently it's not quite as straightforward. I don't know if I like this at all. I feel like this is a little too sort of sexy for her. She's not really a horribly. I mean, doesn't mean she can't be sexy, but that's not her primary thing. She's not really a super sexy person sort of thing. But I do need a picture from the back, but I think I could probably just have her having a normal turn pose. Maybe something more like that. More like a superhero turn pose instead of a I feel like one of the things I really want to kind of I feel like most of that is. Due to the fact that herself, she doesn't feel like she doesn't think she's very sexy. As a person, she's never really thought of herself as super sexy. So I feel like it's disingenuous to her to portray her as any kind of sex symbol as far as like the artist goes. People can find her attractive, that's okay, but I feel like totally disingenuous to call her a sex symbol. Forward. I follow that. So Zigbee's open standard. That's important to know. Because I think part of my problem is trying to figure out well, tell me how it goes, because everything that's in here, of course, is automated through Alexa. But this is my first iteration, and I'm open to second or third iterations. And frankly, one of the problems that I have is this guy right here, right? I mean, like, he's stuck. Both my desk lamp and the light above him are stuck in red, and so is this guy. They didn't make it quite to broadcast colors this morning. They just got kind of stuck where they are. And the only real way to work on this is to go in here, click more, click routines, find the right routine, and then run it until all the lights finally change. And they didn't. Almost. There we go. So after 3 hits, all of the lights finally become the correct lighting. But it took 3 runs of that routine to, I mean, this one, even on the second run, it flickered. So it got the instruction, but didn't quite do its job. Okay, I mean, like, realistically, all of these lights and everything in here has been running nonstop for 2 years. So, I mean, it's like it's the thing. Because the next thing I want to do is just run LED strips along the top of the roof, or top of the room, so that it just, blanket light along the top, but I can change colors and stuff like that. So that's the next big run for me. It's fair. Dang it. There are times where I feel like my dad sometimes. It's kind of funny. Not in a bad way, but dad was so deliberate about everything he did. Like that was one of his traits. Like he would, he would take a cloth and deliberately fold it. Deliberately. So precise about what it did. And it was an affectation that I'm not opposed to inheriting. Really? Right. I think these guys might work on Zig. I'm not 100% sure. I am 100% sure they're full of dust. Wow. Not what I expected to see. Yeah. Well, and that's the thing is like I love the automation that we've done with my house. I really do. Thumb does not want to pop. I really love what I've been doing with my house. The coffee gets made in the morning on time every time. The fact that we can control our swamp cooler, which is a window unit, is astonishing and wonderful. Um, so home automation's great, and I'm aggravated and annoyed that they said that our garage door opener was rigged for home automation, and it isn't. And that's very annoying to me because it was a very expensive unit, which we got. And they said it was for home automation, and what they meant was you can put an app on your phone and that'll work. So for them, they were like, you can control your garage door unit from your app on your phone. However, you must log into the app on your phone in order to access the controller because of security reasons, which is fine. I don't mind that. I get that, but that's not, I can't set up a geofence with it. Because what I would like to have is if you drive more than 50 feet from the house, the door automatically closes. If you get within 50 feet of the house, the door automatically opens. Sort of situation or something like that. And because of security, they're not letting me do that at all. And I'm not mocking security, but I've had my data breached like 12 times. Like everybody has my social security number now, right? And okay, I'll send it to you via. I've had my data breached a gajillion times, right? And there might be it does respond to IFFT or IFFFFFFT or IFFFFFFF. I don't know. But and to be fair, this was 2 years ago, a year and a half ago, when I got frustrated. But it still bothers me and annoys me that I mean this is happening a lot now. It's clicked the wrong thing. All right. It does say geo trigger settings, but geo trigger settings do not actually work unless the app is open. So that's part of the problem. IFTTTTTTT. I am determined not to get paid. You know that, right? But here, I mean, the problem that I've got is that, and this is my problem all the way across the board. My info has gotten compromised over and over and over and over and over and over. And that's because The real compromising in data management does not come from people sitting outside my house waiting for a signal to come through so that they can hack it. The real breach comes in with hackers sitting at home waiting for a company to screw up on their security settings, at which time they get all my information. Yet, because of people freaking out, I cannot actually, I have to log into my my app in order to control the home thing. I cannot tell Alexa to open the door. I cannot have Alexa report to me that the door is open. That's really what I wanted. I really wanted Alexa to be able to say the garage door has been opened. Because what happens is my wife comes home. I'm sitting here working away. She's not a big, loud person. She shows up right here. In my head, I'm all by myself and I jump 3 feet that way. Someday, I'm going to have a heart attack from all of these because I'm not good with this and I don't do well being startled. And she doesn't mean to. She thinks she's making a ton of noise. She isn't. And so, all I really want is the garage door has opened. I've got a little sensor on the front door now that says the front door has been opened, and that helps. But I can hear the front door. From here, I can hear the front door being opened. So that's not so big of a deal. So, anyway, it's frustrating to me. I can't hear the garage door. And that's the other thing is the door to the garage is on the other side of the house, way over there. So she thinks she comes in, she slams the garage door. You know what I mean? Like, all the things you normally do. She doesn't slam it, but you get the idea. It's a fireproof door. Being a fireproof door, it bam, it's heavy. And so it's like, it makes a substantial amount of noise. So to her, she's like, how could you miss me? I'm like a herd of elephants coming through the house. But, I'm sitting here and then all of a sudden, poof, she's materialized right here. I think I'm by myself. I'm drawing. I've got my head down over my monitor. I can't see anything because I'm just, I'm usually. So, yeah, that was the point behind getting that garage door opener. That was the whole point. The whole point is I work from home. I'm here every day by myself. And I'm not necessarily on edge when I'm by myself, but I'm certainly cognizant and aware that I am alone here. And so when somebody materializes directly behind me, it's terrifying, even if it is my beloved. And she's always horrified because she knows I hate being startled, and she hates startling me. So she is perpetually horrified that she has done that to me. Yeah. Are we back to drums only? Okay. I'm on board with that. I do think the idea of talking about homage. I'm gonna run out of medication because I keep forgetting to call my doctor. In fact, everything got screwed up, so let's make sure we're working the right thing. Okay. All right. truth is, I know that if I don't do this now, I'm never going to do this. So I'm just calling in and getting my doctor's appointment scheduled so I can redo all of my patients. But if I don't do this right this second, I will forget by the time we get off stream. And then I'll be like, because I have managed to forget every day forever. There we go. Sorry about that, guys. Like I said, if I don't do it, I just thought of it just now, and I'm like, if I don't do it, and of course, I'm over 50, so I suggest the refills of the medication. Now I've got to go for blood tests, and I've got to fast and all that stuff. It's fine. So that was a lot more scheduling than I thought. My doctor has put a whole bunch of, when he calls, notes into my record. Like, is it like everybody in your team? So, yep. Yeah, I know how this works. I don't call when I think of it. There we go. And that's the text message from the doctor giving me all my information. How you doing, honey? Home dashboard. Honey has dropped in. Honey's in the house. See, this is I like that. We're doing good over here. We're doing good over here. I have a buddy who thinks that they've got a cosplay friend who wants to dress like a character, which I think is cool. But that means that he wants me to do some detailed drawings of the uniform. So that's cool. So this time I'm being super careful to get every perfect. So I know how cosplayers are. Normal Friday. Pretty much the way I'm feeling. It's like a normal Friday going on here. Although, man, leaves are starting to fall off of the trees. The season's starting to change. My eyebrows are feeling puffy, which means that we're going to start having sinus headaches pretty soon. You were running my stream for a minute or two. No. I like good to see you when they. Somebody's out there chopping wood or something. The wood chipper. It's making kind of weird noises, like a wood chipper. Because wood chippers make weird noises. Hi, George. How you doing? Over there, George. You know that you can switch over there. I'm just saying. If you want spreadsheet, come over here. No, you want that spreadsheet. His entire visit might have just simply been to be, hi, you are right. You want to. That may have been George's entire intention, just to kind of go, just trying to tell you. I must remember whom I belong to. Yep. Came over, rubbed up against my legs, and then went over there. It's you. Really, we should do it different ways. And then that way, I can bring up details on this, and then I can have close up here be on a different layer. Alright, see you in a sec. We'll still be here. Plugging away. This is where really having a 3D model is so useful. Such a bizarre angle. I don't think it would have caught things like the patch coming around the side here like this. Or just in general, the way that this all is laying out, it's so convoluted. Despite the fact that the way that the model wants to go, this is not straight. It needs to be straight. These are CPACs. The actual unit is on her sleeve would be rigid. QuaCk. Hone is here, and so is Brent. You want to get 45 minutes in on me with me, you can. Actually, do character design. So, a buddy of mine may have a cosplayer who wants to use physicality, physically, physically,
Yeah. Physicalala.
right? I mean, it's just like keeps going. It lends itself to that. It's not bad. You gonna bring in video?
I'm trying.
Oh, okay. Well, if you weren't, I was gonna minimize you. But if you're gonna bring in video, I'm not gonna minimize you.
Well, it says it's working. I don't know why it's not working on your end. Oh. On. There we go.
Ah, we got chin. That's all we got. Colton's chin. How you doing this morning?
Not bad. I just woke up. I got bed head and everything, but it looks good.
Yeah, but it's blue bed head, which is kind of cool.
I know. It's all like spiky and everything. I was like, all right, this works. I guess we're going with it.
It's fine. So yeah, I have a buddy who said that he might have a cosplayer who'd be interested in dressing as Chang.
Nice.
I think that's kind of cool. So
When is this?
do some high detail, design on the outfit, and costume, things like that. So
Right.
doing that. So kind of try to get like pictures of her showing like here are all the things on the arm, and but also making it graphically kind of cool.
Mm-hmm.
So that it's not so it's not a waste. I could just draw this, but the truth is, it's better to do it so that I can use it for other things, or at least just use it for the next tech manual. She used to cosplay, and she doesn't really that much anymore.
Your friend?
My partner.
Oh, your partner.
Yeah. I mean, she used to do cosplay all the time.
I remember you telling me that.
And that's not her thing anymore, I guess.
That's fair.
True. So her degree,
it's a lot of work. To be real, it's a lot of work.
But her degree is in theater costume.
Oh, that makes sense.
So she actually
a lot of my friends that are theater kids back in like high school and that went off to be like cosplayers and things like that.
So it's not actually like Brent's not wrong. I mean, like, as in Brent knows this kind of information. He's not wrong here. It is kind of strange that she's never won this. That's a chance. Although it's interesting, cosplay is such a interesting, specifically different thing. What, like for example, I do like to cosplay, but I only really like to wear Starfleet uniforms, and I cosplay as Guy, the Starfleet officer. You know what I mean? I don't cosplay as Picard or cosplay as, you know what I mean? Like, I cosplay as Guy, the Starfleet officer, which is different than what cosplayers do. Because cosplayers cosplay as X character or Y character.
Mm-hmm. Totally understand that.
Interesting that, like, it's like one of those things. It's like everybody's like, well,
Brent says talk your wife into it for table setup.
Right. Cosplayers have been saying, Trekkies have been cosplaying for a long time. I'm like, I don't think that's the same thing.
It is.
I mean, like, I feel like there's more, I don't want to say dedication. There's a difference.
I mean, there's a lot of cosplayers too that will like school uniforms.
Yeah, they just wear school uniforms.
They just wear the school uniform of their favorite show. And they're like, yeah. Like me and my friends back in high school, we would run around with Naruto headbands because we were that nerdy. Like we would actually, like we'd find ways to hide them so no one would see, and then we'd walk like past each other like down the hall and be like, Leaf Village. Right. And then just walk right past. Like we were doing little things like that. Like it was stupid.
Yeah, but it was a thing. But I mean, like, I kind of, it's like it cracks me up that people are wearing school uniforms. My kids did everything to get out of the damn uniform. Like, that was their big thing. Get home as fast as possible so that they could throw their uniform in the laundry and get into normal clothes. That was like their big drive every day. I had like a handful of kids who they'd wear their uniforms around town, but
yeah,
rare.
I think it's so like how do I want to say this? Like noticing it, like it's more the ones that don't want to be seen from like what school they're going to or whatnot, or they have something like in that scenario, they're like, no, gotta go get out of this. People don't know where I'm at.
Yeah,
I don't want
to say it. There was in school rivalry, but
there probably was. There's always some kind of school rivalries.
There always is. It was,
and especially when it comes to like, I'm not gonna lie, like with watching like how Japan does like entrance exams and like all that stuff, like how they hold everybody, all different schools in the different like standards. I can definitely see there being more rivalries in Japan because of that.
Although all of my schools,
all your what?
Just
I didn't catch that. What'd you say, Guy?
I said all of my schools were they're out in the middle of the countryside. So London,
Yeah, that one's a little different. But I mean, like in city, I could definitely see it being more of a
In-city.
thing.
In-city was a big deal. The big schools wear their uniforms with great, and you
Yeah.
see you go into town, and like you can see the higher ritzier schools, all the kids wear their uniforms, and the lower schools, none of the kids wear their uniforms for
Yeah.
very much the same reason. Yeah, I mean, and it's the same thing with the military. You know, if you're in,
I would be totally down for, like, when I was in school, I would even tell my parents, I was like, yeah, if you guys put us in uniforms, cool, whatever. At first, I was like, why? And then I thought about it. I was like, that's fine. I wouldn't care because I can literally go home and take it off.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, you want me to wear it just for one, like, literally 5 days a week.
that's totally the thing. It's like,
But else knowing me, I would be lazy and not get out of it.
it's fair.
I'd be that kid. I'd be the kid that just like, all right, cool, we're going out. Yeah, whatever. Because I, like,
you please put your uniform on. You're running around naked. Stop doing that.
it was the same thing with like my current work uniform. Like I showed up to my old work to like say hi to coworkers and whatnot and have like some dinner and a beer. And the guy sitting next to me works for UPS and he's out of his uniform. He's like, "What are you doing?" And I was like, "I'm getting dinner. What's up?" And we started talking. He's like, "I'm a manager. If I saw this, I'd be so pissed right now." And I was like, "Oh, how do you like that bar around the corner around your place when it all gets covered in UPS brown?" He's just like, "I don't go there." Yeah. Every Friday, it's this. So there's a little bar right by the big station of UPS that everybody from UPS goes to.
Sure.
Friday night after work. Totally makes sense. And he's like, "Yeah, I don't go there." I'm like, "Why?" Because you'd have to start writing people up. He's like, "Yeah, probably."
And I guess
But that's the same thing. I was like, "Why do you think I come here? The only time there's a FedEx person in this building is during the day, and he's coming to grab something." And he's like, "Huh, you really thought this out?" I'm like, yes, I have.
Yeah, and it's the thing.
But also, I'm not here to get like hammered. I'm having a drink and some food, and I'm leaving afterwards.
I just think it's fun. I guess I don't know. It's the same kind of thing. Not with the same negative connotation.
Your mic's like.
Did my mic wander off?
Oh, there we go. Whoa, yeah, you're like super clear now.
It's because my mic turned away. So when I lean in, I'm really close to my mic.
Yeah.
I try to swing.
Well, that's kind of the same reason why like I try and like stay in the back of my seat because if I don't, I'm all the way up here, and it gets really.
You're in a crap. But yeah, it's it's kind of like it's in a
no hammering. No, I will not hammer.
It's in a similar vein to sort of Stolen Valor thing.
Yeah.
But not in a negative way. Because Stolen Valor is definitely negative, right? If I showed up at a convention in a Marine uniform, you know what I mean? It's like, I don't know. That wouldn't go over well, obviously. Now, of course, all of the uniforms that they're wearing at conventions are not real uniforms. Yeah, that's one of the things.
Yeah, but I mean, you're still going back on that though. You are still wearing a uniform of a theoretical TV show,
right?
Which still makes it cosplay.
Exactly. So it's not the same as Stolen Valor.
Because technically, really, if you really want to be funny about it, you can be like, "I'm Soldier 32, the one that got shot in episode 665."
Right.
Like you could just be like, you could say that, and people are like, "Okay."
Right. So
that was the background character.
Something to think about, though. It's like that is the thing. Okay. So, as a good example, Stargate SG-1, right? Stargate SG-1 as a show had actual people in actual uniforms. They have real Air Force uniforms going on there and stuff like that.
Air Force, military,
I mean,
Marines,
Air
everything.
Force, because it was an Air Force installation, but it was still, what if I were to dress up as General Hammond from starting at SG-1? I'm in a legitimate Air Force uniform, and it would be
Yes, but
stars, general stars on there. So it'd be like, but
those ones would be hard because that would technically be impersonating an officer.
exactly, that's what I mean. It's like technically you're right on the edge there, but then it's like, was John Davis impersonating an officer? Technically, you know what I mean? And I think the military has a specific set of rules which says if you're not wearing a division patch, then you're not impersonating an officer.
A what? Sorry, you're doing the cut in, cut out thing again.
Am I really cutting in and cutting out?
Like, yeah, you sound like you're like super far, and then you get like super close and super far, super close. I'm like, that's weird.
I'm wondering if this is some kind of problem with yeah, because see, I'm noticing that's the same thing that's going on over here. I wonder if that's something to do with the noise cancellation.
That might be. If it's trying to cancel out the music and all that too.
Yeah, they fixed it. I'm going to turn off the echo noise suppression and see what happens.
There you go. Okay,
Is that
Brent.
better?
I didn't know that. Sorry, I didn't hear that. What was that?
I said, is that better?
You sound clearer, but you're also right closer to your mic again.
Well, yeah, let's move back here a little bit and see what happens.
Well, that sounds better. Yeah,
Okay.
back there. I can hear you.
Okay, so yeah, I mean, when we talk about, yeah, that's Brent's saying the same thing. So as long as there's one major error on the uniform, like we're
That's
all
noticeable.
wearing SG-1 Stargate patches, it's like, then it's okay,
No, that makes total sense.
That makes sense. You're not impersonating an officer at that point. And I think that's the legality of it there.
Right,
So-
right.
I've thought about that. And that's the same thing I think with school uniforms.
Yeah.
When you wear a school uniform, as long as it's not a real school. The problem is that those school uniforms there's only there's a number of school uniforms.
They're all pretty much the same style. Too.
But it's like I have seen there's one anime that they were using the exact same school uniform that our school used.
Oh, really?
And I can't remember what it was, but it was a short-lived one because they weren't there I haven't seen them in a long time, but for a while there were girls at a convention that triggered my teacher brain and said, why are they here? Like I had a problem because I'm good at you get good at reading the uniforms because you got to yell at your kids, but you don't have to yell at EY Choose kids, or whatever. You don't have to worry about EY Junior High. They're not your kids. You know what I mean? Or South Junior High. That's not your kids. That's somebody else's
seeing the uniform
problem.
run past you, you're like, wait a second.
Right. But if it's your kid, you're responsible for that kid. So, you're on the streets of EY and you see a Sashima kid and you're like, hey, what you doing here? What's up?
Right.
Are you guys okay? Is everything fine? And also, since you're a foreigner, they will report you to their parents. And so that if you've been spotted, you're going to hear about it the next day.
That's fair.
It's definitely a thing that occurred. Not reported in a bad way, but...
Yes. No, I totally understand that.
That makes sense. Yeah, you don't see Marines very often in movies.
That makes sense though with the Marine thing. If that's
because the uniform's a big deal with the Marines. So rightfully so.
That's what I was gonna say. It's if it's one of their clauses of like, hey, you guys can't do A, B, C, D because this. Got it. We can work around that.
Yeah, I have no problem with that. That makes total sense to me.
No, they want to put that in their system, in their contracts. You know, the Air Force and that don't apparently because people still dress up as them.
Yeah, now there's Space Force uniforms.
Actually, that also makes sense too.
The Space Force uniforms, actually, I hate to say this, but they actually are kind of cool.
Are they? I'm gonna have to look them up.
Yeah, they're double-breasted, and I'm like, oh, God.
Space Force.
Not the TV show, though.
I know. U.S. So let's see. These ones?
Yes. Aren't they cool?
They look
They're
nice.
double-breasted and everything. I love it.
They look nice.
They really do. And they're offset double-breasted, and I'm like, oh, crap.
I like the offset. That is kind of cool.
Yeah, I could wear that. I could reasonably wear a Space Force uniform, and it's a good thing that they didn't come up with the Space Force 20 years ago. I'd join.
I mean,
especially as a 20-year-old me, I would have joined for the uniform. Just totally would have joined for the uniform.
Let's say the Space Force. Buckley Air Force Base is now Buckley
Space Force Base. Mm-hmm. It is.
It's hilarious.
Does not surprise me.
I saw them training out there yesterday. I was actually out in that area and was like, "Oh, cool." Dude, I was like, "Oh." They weren't lying. It is a Space Force base now.
Yeah, it's totally a Space Force base, which is
cool.
cool.
They're running and training. Actually, I thought it made more sense though, having them as a Space Force base than an Air Force, because those big white lobes.
Golf balls. The golf balls. We say the golf balls.
More spacey.
And they are more spacey. And we don't technically know what they do, even if we do.
Right.
I'm pretty aware of what they do, but it's only because over the years people accidentally leak information that probably I shouldn't have gotten.
Oh.
It's all good. I'm not going to say anything.
Satellite.
And you can't weasel. And the truth is, the information that I know is spotty and mostly, hearsay. Who would believe me? Right? I mean, the only reason I have any interest in it at all is because I'm a stupid geek,
Fair.
Yeah. But what kind? It's all good. I keep thinking that someday I might actually make a uniform, one of these uniforms for me. Not this one. I like the dress uniform for this as much, because it is double-breasted as well. We don't usually see them in their dress uniform, because the only time we've seen the dress uniform in canon at this point in time is that Jen's wearing a dress uniform.
I was laughing at the Space Force thing, sorry. How the Trump and the TV show Space Force got in like a legal battle because over names.
Because of what?
Because of the name.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
I thought that was hilarious. They're like, we technically made this movie first before you decided to make it, so you still gotta keep the TV show.
Yeah, the DARPA kind. That's actually the reason why I know way too much about those things, is because of DARPA.
Nice.
I'm a DARPA nut. Every time DARPA does something, I'm like, I'm in.
Which one's DARPA again? I know
That's
the name.
that's the Defense's special weird crap unit.
Defense is
So-
already
It's that's the military's robots and automated vehicles and automated aircraft and automated rockets, that kind of stuff. Automated spacecraft. All of that stuff is in DARPA. And DARPA does all kinds of wild stuff all the time. And it's like, what are they doing? They're doing this. That's weird. Yes, it is.
Yes, it is.
It's weird in the good way. So,
That's cool. Huh.
you're like looking up DARPA.
Yeah, I was looking up a few things. I was like, hold on, what are they doing? I'm really kind of curious now.
Yeah, DARPA used to be much more Black Ops than it is nowadays.
I remember that part. That's why I was like, what are they doing now?
And technically, this patch goes out beyond the actual. Yes. Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency. DARPA. DARPA is one of my favorites, along with Skunkworks.
Skunkworks?
Skunkworks is Lockheed Martin's Black Ops. It's when they...
I've been to the Lockheed down south.
Yes, me too.
That's because we had to deliver all that. We deliver to them daily down at Littleton Station.
Yep. I was down there.
A lot of those ones are hush hush.
I was at Lockheed Martin in Mission Control.
Nice.
During the when Maven made its orbital insertion at Mars.
That was a while ago.
And then I was there for that, and that made my entire week. That made my year. Because they were bringing in, they allowed a certain number of social media outlets.
Right.
And Geek Tank was considered a social media outlet, so on a whim, I applied. And they were like, sure. And I'm like, what? Like, they're like, yeah. I'm like, damn, that's awesome. I got to go in there wearing a communicator and everything. I was like, because I was in Geek Tank mode, so I got to wear a Starfleet communicator, and they let me. I mean, nobody gave me a second look. It was so awesome. But that was actually really funny because I was next to that's one of my favorite stories. Is I'm sitting next to a girl from ULA, United Launch Alliance, and so she's like really a rocket person. But she was one of the grunts, but still grunts. A rocket grunt is still cooler than just your normal grunt, But she was sitting next to me, and we were talking and watching the data screen, and there was 2 sets of times. One of them was completely off, like the clock was off from current time, and she was like, "That bottom clock is off," and I'm like, "It's not off." And she's like, well, what's going on? I said, that's light delay from Mars. Because at this current moment, Mars was 15 light minutes out from us.
Oh, wow.
Because Mars moves along in a different path in the solar system. And at the time, it was distant by 15 minutes. Because it was on the other side of the sun. And so the clock was 15 minutes behind, and it was light delay. And she was like, really? And yeah, that's light delay. And she's like, how do you know these things? And I'm like, geek. Us geeks know geeky things. That's what we do. Like, that's why I'm here. Nobody else really cares to go see, you know, a space probe doing orbital insertion. Nobody would care. But I cared. That was a big deal. Still one of my favorite stories ever. Tonight is D&D for us.
D&D.
Speaking
Dragon might.
Speaking of super geeky things to do. I am a proud nerd. Just saying. I'm totally a proud nerd.
I like how Brent's like, I'm a proud nerd. Dot, 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 dot.
Yeah. It's all right. You make fun of me. I'm always willing to be made fun of. Not going to change anything.
Say, I am too. Most all my stuff comes in coffee cups. Actually, no. As you can see. Around my room.
Right? It's all good. I've spent years and years and years and years and years and years being closeted as a nerd because I didn't want to get messed with or whatever.
Harassed.
And now I'm like, you know what? Back in the day it was girls will think I'm weird or whatever, and now I'm married. And I'm married to a nerd. You know what I mean? Like, it's totally a, you know, should never have gotten into that thought process because I'm a happier person being married to a nerd.
Oh, yeah. So would it take 8 minutes, though, Brent, for us to fully, like, feel the effects? Or is it just a light move?
Yes. The answer to your question. The thing is that we wouldn't feel the loss of gravity. Because gravity still travels. It's still limited by the EM spectrum.
The object.
Yeah, which is part of...
but we would not have the gravitational pull towards the sun.
Right.
So when we would start feeling like the...
But we wouldn't feel that.
How fast would we feel the cool? Because we aren't getting the heat from the sun.
The radiation goes at the speed of light too.
Oh, so it would be in 8 minutes, and then we would feel that it would just get drastically colder. Without
The temperature, heat is nothing more than light in a different spectrum.
Right.
So all of the transmissions coming from the sun would still transmit to us for 8 minutes. So if the sun were to suddenly vanish, it would cause that transition. It would trickle down. Okay. I am using a sort of science thing, which is what I call gravity net. And it's the idea that we're in a spider web of gravity. So if you pull, it pulls all of it, and it goes at faster than light speed, not because of the pull, but because the entire space-time is moved, and it can move over and shift. But that's not the way that gravity actually works. In real life, if the sun vanished, you'd still have 8 minutes of gravity being pulled along that thread before it let loose of the Earth.
Got it.
But when my spacecraft use gravity sensors, they're tapping the web of gravity. So they're not following gravity's rules in that instance. It's one of my pseudo science fiction-y things where I'm doing the, well, you know, where Dr. McDonald would be like, Guy, really, you know, because she'd be like, that's not the way it works. And I'd be like, I know, but I needed that information. I need that little bit of I need that for my stories. So
I need a little bit more.
I need just a little.
But it's also it's science fiction.
I know, but I'm trying to be as accurate as I can be.
Oh, I know. Well, that's the same thing with like all the other like pure science fiction shows and movies and whatnot. Like most of it, we didn't like Star Trek, for example, when it started. They came up with a whole bunch of crazy stuff. People were like, "This is never going to be a thing," and now it's a daily life thing.
Right. Well, that's the thing, because Brent's saying, "But," and I'm like, "Well, according to Einstein." And according not only to Einstein, but Bohr's law, Einstein's law of general relativity, space-time won't move at anything faster than the speed of light. So space-time can't actually technically respond. It would still, the shock wave would still travel at the speed of light. That's why we still have, in the story, we still have responses from Betelgeuse that's still traveling, and why the beehive, for example, is bracing at this time for the impact that's coming up from Betelgeuse, because the lower parts of the stars of the beehive are within range and coming up on the shock wave from the destruction of Betelgeuse. Because Betelgeuse, as soon as Betelgeuse breaks up, each element of the star then has its own gravitational pull, but the further away that those elements get from each other, the more the general gravity of the area will drop. Right? Exactly. Anytime you say a bad word to a toddler, that travels faster than the speed of light. That is a truism. Because the toddler will immediately somehow infect every other toddler within 20 miles. And they will all start saying the bad word. And it will be your fault somehow. The other thing that travels faster than the speed of light, as a side note, is rumors on a starship. Those travel faster than the speed of light. Absolutely. So I have to admit, going back to school for cultural anthropology is probably the correct choice for me, but that doesn't mean that I'm not still kind of going, man, sure would love to go be an astronomer or a physics major. And I might take cultural anthropology with a physics minor. You know, with astrophysics minor. And people would be like, that's a combo. And I'd be like, I know, I'm weird. It might have to be the way it goes. And then there might be a war when I get to the point where I have to decide. Between where we are and, you know, what happens next. Because that might be a thing. Yeah, I wonder if these would be... If someone were to cosplay my uniforms, would they put little red lights in here? Because I would.
Where?
Right in
Oh, in the
these.
back heels.
These little telltales. Because those are the, you've got artificial gravity.
Actually,
on
for
your
those
shoes.
ones, it'd be an easier one to do because it would just be a little tiny one LED light
Exactly.
compared to like doing like a strip or a whole costume.
There.
I'm excited. Oh,
I'm going to go over a little today. You've got to go to work, don't you?
nope, I'm off today.
Oh, yeah, you said that.
I got the whole rest of the weekend off.
Good job.
That's actually why I was late, because I
Because you just
apparently
slept in.
I
Screw
was
it,
like,
man.
oh.
I don't blame you.
I was telling
Yeah.
myself, I was like, oh, I'll wake up and get some stuff done early, and then next thing you notice, I was like, it's 9 o'clock.
Yeah, no, screw that, man. I'm good.
Then I realized it was 10. I was like, oh, shoot, it's Friday. You're on. Let's go ahead.
I'm on. It's all good. This looks cool. I'm just going to keep going. I mean, really legitimately, I'm just going to go get lunch at some point. So,
Yeah, there you go.
probably should tie that
I mean,
up.
if you're still working, just keep going.
We're having fun.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, at some point, I think my stomach will be like, that's it. I hate you. And the other thing I want to do with this is make sure I talk about correctly all the devices.
Oh, I like that pose. Go up. The second one.
Oh.
That you haven't drawn yet.
Oh, this one?
Yeah.
Yeah, I had to do a back pose, and then I was like,
that
but
pose. Just like
I don't want her to be sexy because she's not really sexy. Like, I mean, I'm sure she could be found sexy. That's fine, but that's not Chang. Like,
Yeah.
in her mind, she's not sexy.
Right.
So it seemed silly to do the, classic sort of thing. So I was like, that's not gonna cut it with her. She's not that.
Right.
So that was a much better one. It's like more like a superhero pose because that's who she is in her head. Not a superhero, but she's not sexy.
Right.
Like this pose here, this main pose is more demure than she usually is anyway. But
Oh, yeah. I mean, that
but
one
it
still
still-
works. Like,
it still works. She's still okay. It's still okay in my head.
it still
Wait.
has like femininity. That's why I think like it's not. Hey, I'm a man. Like it still shows up.
It's
in
not
the
here's
character.
my boobs. It's
Yeah.
I'm a woman, but not here's my boobs and stupid stuff like that, which she wouldn't go for.
Right.
She's not that, man. There's no way.
Mhm.
She's not falling for that. She ain't doing that crap. It's funny how the characters get such personality in your head.
That's good. Especially from the creator's aspect, as long as your characters have character, personality, and all that to you, like you can at least make that come out on the page.
Yeah.
Because after
They
that,
become
it's all,
real
It's
people.
all on you making them feel like real people on paper.
Yeah. Yeah, that's actually something, oddly, I was talking to my psychiatrist about.
Oh, really?
Therapist.
Nice.
I don't believe that therapy is a bad thing. I think everybody should do therapy.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, I was talking to her about my views on women because I was like, I don't generally like to talk about, I think she's cute or whatever to my friends. It's not my style.
Mhm.
And she was like, why? And I was like, because I don't like to objectify women. And she's like, what if women want to be objectified? Specifically. And I was like,
My counter argument with that is like, yes, women do want to get objectified, but only by the people that they want. So if it's a random person saying it, they're going to have an even more bigger problem about it. And then that's when we would have another conversation on how to figure that out.
Well, yeah. We were discussing.
It's just things I would say with her. I'd be like, and then like, counter offer.
Right. Well, she's talking about. So my mom was a third wave feminist, like bra burning 70s feminist, hardcore. So I got raised in a way, where you can't be disrespectful to women at all, or you will die at my mom's hands. She will kill you.
That's right.
Sort of thing. And so that's what the therapist is really kind of after. She's not saying I should be objectifying women. She's specifically saying, now, wait a minute, is that appropriate?
Right.
Is that because there are women who do wish to be objectified? That's why they pose nude. That's why they do Playboy. That's why, some do it for the money, but some do it because legitimately they like being admired.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, I understand that. I get that. But there's more to a person than boobs. And that bothers me when women are reduced to boobs.
Yeah, same.
And so...
That's like, my friends have done that to me multiple times. Like, oh, what do you think of her? I'm like, she's cute. And they're like, that's it? I'm like, yeah. Like, there's a lot of coworkers that they're just like, I work with some very dirty old men.
Right. Well, and that's the thing.
Just like behind closed doors of what they say, I'm just like, I'm not going to repeat that, sir.
I'm not in this. Yeah, it's like... And I guess part of it might be also that I've been an artist all my life. I mean, the number of boobs I have drawn, after a while, you kind of like get a little desensitized.
You're just like, oh, they're boobs. I like them, but they're boobs.
Yeah, cute boobs. Like, Well, and that's the other discussion is like my wife does not mind that I objectify her because she also knows that she is not objectified. You know what I mean? Like, me objectifying her does not render her to boobs,
Right.
It's a different mentality.
Oh, yeah. Always is.
So this sheet will also, I'm going to make sure I identify all the devices on here because that's why I did a close-up. However, I did realize she did bring up some important things that do make me realize I tend to not make my characters attractive. Like put them in poses that they would be in.
Mm-hmm.
For example, I had to seriously think about taking the camera and zooming in on Chang's chest. Because my initial thought was, dude, don't do that. That's horrible. But we need all the devices that are on her chest. Like, so that I can do a little analysis. It says, this is what this device means, and this is what this device means.
Mm-hmm.
Because all of these devices have a different meaning. And honestly, if I don't write them down, I'm going to forget.
That's fair.
I'm going to create all of these things, and then at some point I'll be like,
what does this one do again?
And then I'll end up with, some captain here will be doing a thing, and Brent will be like, the captain doesn't have scrambled eggs. And I'll be like, oh, crap, The scrambled eggs, these things right here, they represent, I am in command of this ship. The star indicates that she's a commander.
That is me.
Right? Yes. Although he's referring to something else, but yes, he would. He totally would. He'd be like, "You missed the scrambled eggs on this character, this captain. This is a captain. He's in command of this ship, and so why does he not have scrambled eggs?" And I'll be like, "Crap, that was like 3 years ago. Wow, I forgot that." You know, so. They're not actually scrambled eggs because I would hate drawing that. Scrambled eggs suck. Scrambled eggs is the name of the gold filigree that they put on the front of baseball caps.
Really?
For,
That's what
Navy
it's
ships.
called?
Mm-hmm. Well, it's like fruit salad. It's not the real name. It's the name that people give it.
Oh, okay.
But like your ribbons that are on there, they call that the fruit salad because it looks kind of like fruit salad, but it's not actually fruit salad. And if you ask if you ask the military what it's called, it's got a different name, but everybody calls it fruit salad. So I call this the scrambled eggs. It's really just a indicator bar.
Holy shit! I know where they're at. Sorry, I was looking up something and I just realized something. I pass this place every day.
Not Domos.
No.
I'm still sad about Domos.
No, it's a kickboxing place. My friend's been going to it for like 2 years now, and I've been wanting to get back into like some kind of martial arts. And her just posting pictures about it, it's like, I kind of want to go check this. And I just realized where
nice.
I pass this place every day, almost, and not realized it.
Those are kind of cool looking. Look at the bottom there. That looks neat. Let me zoom in.
Oh, nice.
It just looks cool because not something I do very often, which is a section of a person drawings. I'm not good at them. I don't do them very well. I'm kind of glad I was using maquettes because I could do this, but this would be one of those 3 days later, I'm still trying to draw them and I'm mad sort of things because it's not, I have a hard time visualizing it.
Mm-hmm.
I was noticing this the other day, artist to artist, you and me talking to one another. One of the things I had noticed the other day was I don't generally I don't see composition very well yet.
Yeah.
Like I'm still having a hard time with scene composition.
I think composition's a hard one for a lot of people.
It is. But composing a scene is difficult for me. So I tend to put, a medium shot with two characters kind of standing like this. And the other
you do your basic. You kind of fall back to what you always know.
Yeah, and I don't do any of the real cool, super dynamic, deep. So that's why I'm kind of... And that's what I've been trying to remedy with maquettes. Not just speed, but also breaking out of the thought process that this is Colton and Guy standing in a room, but rather we're drawing a manga which needs to have just a little bit more dynamics. It needs to be pushed a little further. You know what I mean? Because if I draw you and me standing in the room, it's going to be us from like waist up just standing there. With our arms at our side, which is exactly what happens when you and I are talking to one another. I mean, that's the reality of two human beings talking to each other. But in a comic, that's kind of boring.
Yeah, how do you change those angles in the panel? That was actually the thing with Bob. Bob was supposed to... Boy Bob.
Uh-huh.
He was supposed to be making a comic he was going to try and do of just coffee talk. Of like two people that are always coming together every time. It's going to be like a weekly thing of them just talking. He's like, figuring out how to do the camera angles and all that was really what he wanted to do. He never did it. But that was his actual plan, was actually do something like that. And I was like, dude, that's genius, actually.
That's pretty sick,
yourself to that point of like, oh, this is how this works. You know? And that was kind of like, oh man, that would have been so cool. But I don't think he ever actually committed to that.
No, probably not.
But it was a cool idea.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're wanting like some kind of practice, I think that would be a good way to practice too. Of like,
Well,
hey,
I've
how
also
do I
been
do this?
thinking about doing a comic where I write the dialogue in Japanese to practice my Japanese.
Ooh, that'd be a good one too.
Actually, I meet with a dude every week now who's a buddy of mine, and his wife is the translator for IndieK.
Oh, okay.
So she's Japanese, and he's been recently saying my Japanese sucks and it'd be nice if I upped it. And I've been saying same thing, and his wife has come to me and said, your Japanese sucks, you need to up it, which was very funny because I've been telling that story for a while because she now knows me well enough to be direct.
Right.
And I'm like, when Japanese people get direct, A, you listen, and B, it's like kind of weird. It's a little strange when they get direct.
Right.
It's not my comfort zone, sort of thing, but it's still funny. And so
that is funny that she's being very direct with you, though. Like, if they start getting really direct, it's like, all right, we've hit that point.
yeah,
We're
we've hit the point
friends.
where I probably ought to be listening, and I should have listened a while ago and missed it.
Mm-hmm.
She also knows.
But
me.
also, like, now you also know that you're friends, too, because they are being direct, too.
Exactly. Like Asuka, who thinks that I'm family for Asuka. That's just the way it goes because she's totally direct with me, but she's also 16, so there's that.
Yeah, a little different.
A little different. You always have teenagers with teenagers. It doesn't matter how old they are. Or what culture they're from is what I meant to say. But that's because that didn't make any sense.
They're a little bit more direct at that age.
Yeah, always a little bit more direct. All right. Let's take a look at what we got here. Nice. All right. That looks good. So, yeah, think a person who talks with their... It's called business, but that's not really the problem that I have. It's composition, because, like, activity, I can make them do. I can make that happen. Actually,
that was another thing, though, Bob was talking about, is, like, how to make it also exciting, too, is by adding in the hand motions of, like, the conversations of, like, adding that into the scene still makes two people just sitting there having a conversation like this. Hi, guy. We're just having coffee. We're doing it.
Right. Exactly.
I'm just kind of talking to my cup while I talk to you.
Right. It's called giving them business. They've got coffee. They're drinking the coffee, whatever.
But even doing that, those sections while they're talking is like, oh, this person is just drinking out of their coffee, or vice versa. If you really wanted to, you could use all of us as a coffee talk. It's like, oh yeah, we're just talking.
Yeah. Oh, sure.
Frank could be our barista in the background you never see, and he just randomly pipes in and just says something off camera.
Somewhere I have a thing that's really useful. I just have to find it. But
yeah, I've thought about doing something like that for years. Like back when we were doing Rick and Ghost stuff at Perkins, I was like, this would be a fun one. Just like daily conversations and like how to have a conversation on a panel would be a fun one just to play with. I just never got around to it.
Absolutely. And that's one of those kind of, on that same token, is kind of that.
That's right. Right.
It's kind of, but one of the other things is Wally Wood's 25 shots that you can
Oh.
always use.
25 panels that always work. Yeah.
25 panels that always work.
Shots, whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, 25 panels, and I was looking for it, but I can't find it.
Huh.
Somebody says Snow Crab. They've canceled, and it doesn't matter what they say. I'm like sitting there going, Snow Crab. I've never heard of that show. You know what I mean? Like
Ice
my
Fisher
first
show?
thoughts that always go through my head are, I've never heard of a show called Snow Crab, and then I realize he's not talking about a show. He's talking about like animals, real animals.
Oh, it's not a show. Oh, I thought you were talking
Right?
about like Deadliest Catch.
Right? Exactly. They've canceled The Deadliest Catch. No, like you cannot actually go get snow crabs.
Makes sense. It's bound to happen with how much we consume everything.
Oh man. And Japan is... You want to talk about heated arguments.
I bet they are heated.
They are heated. Japan eats a lot of seafood.
I mean, it makes sense. They're an island.
They are, but they don't need to be whaling.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's the problem I have with like watching a lot of it too. I'm just like, you guys, like, we don't need to put all these things to extinct. Like, there's a reason why we have cow farms, beef farms, things like that, chicken farms.
Mm-hmm.
And that's another reason why they have like the corn-fed beef and non-corn-fed, is because they're trying to pump them up quicker so they can get them through production.
Yeah.
Like, there's a lot of yay nay spots for it, but it's what it is.
That's the thing. I don't know. It's like... I get it, and a lot of this is important, but yeah, there's so much involved in all of this that's, you know, and it's interesting. So the aforementioned Japanese person brought up something that has just totally made me think for like an entire week, because she'd brought this up. She'd said, in Japanese culture, there's no structure for devil's advocate. So, if you say, I like beef, and I say, have you considered chicken? In their culture, that's a challenge. That's not just me saying, have you considered chicken? I am effectively saying you're an idiot for wanting to like, or for liking beef. That's the structure that they've set up in their culture. So, generally, Japanese, you'll say, I like beef, and they'll go, oh, that's nice. And you'll get no opinion from them. And part of it has a lot to do with the fact that structurally, by culture, they won't challenge, because if they won't say anything, because they don't want to unbalance the situation. She was saying, if she had said in that instance, let's say, if she had said, what about chicken? The response would be, what kind of upstart are you to tell me that I can't like beef? You know what I mean? And she said, that's one of the reasons why you get the responses you do out of Japanese people. You'll tell them your opinion, and they'll go, okay. And you'll be like, but... And she said, that's just a difference in the two cultures. With an American, you throw something out there because you want to talk about it. You want the other person's opinion. You want to know why they do the things that they do. You want to know, why do you like chicken? Why do you like beef? I like chicken and beef. Why do you not like chicken? Do you not like chicken? All of those things are in there. And we're all ready to get into that fray. and we're all totally okay with it, and there is no personal harm to either person, right? If you and I got into a discussion about, favorite cars or whatever, and you liked Fords and I liked Nissans, let's just say.
Mitsubishi Evo.
But I mean, the whole point behind having that discussion would be to talk about it,
No, I like the car. Like, that's my favorite car, but I will never buy one because I do not treat my cars nicely because I use them as a tool, not a showpiece.
Yeah,
That's
as I've grown older, things are
showpiece.
different for me, but that's okay.
Motorcycles are my showpiece. That's the difference.
Right.
But see, that's the difference right there. That'd be our conversation, though.
And that would be a
do you like cars
conversation,
as a
and we'd
showpiece?
have it, and it'd be fine, and everything would be good. And there's nothing wrong with that. But that's what she was saying, and I thought that was fascinating because I'd never thought about that.
Right.
Yeah, whale, I don't know. I've probably eaten whale. I didn't want to. But there was a time where I didn't want to be picky in Japan. I thought it was a waste for me to go to another country and then just eat hamburgers the entire time. So, culturally that would have been a major waste, and it would have been silly. So
right.
I stopped. I went on ahead and ate everything that was put in front of me, whether I thought it was disgusting or not. But it's good because now I know for a fact, dog is a Korean thing.
You know what's funny about dog, though? I even got this information from a friend of mine, or colleague from school. He's like, I've had dog before. I'm like, oh, really? He's like, yeah, that's a poor man's meat.
Yep.
He's like, if you're really like that concerned about you're going to get dog when you walk into a restaurant, you're in a very, very...
Yeah, you're not in a good place.
He's like, also, it's very stringy. It's really not that great. But it's a poor man's meat. I'm like, interesting.
Exactly.
I mean, that's like us. We have poor man meat all the time, too.
Well, and I'm sure I've had horse.
Probably.
I'm pretty sure that's happened at least once.
There
were a lot of mystery meats.
I've had game meat a lot, and I just don't remember what everything was.
And the good news about talking about eating horse and dog and stuff is that it's definitely curbing my hunger.
Oh, good. You're welcome.
It's so funny, too, because my Japanese friends were like, what's your problem with horse? And I said, I think mostly it's cultural, because horses were our best buds out on the range, during the formative times, because America is the one that's mostly anti-horse. I mean, you'll get anti-horse from Australian too, and sometimes from Britain, but not a lot.
Most of the places you get is usually because they use horses for actual uses.
Right. And a lot of this has to do with the fact that personification occurs. And with humans, we have a real problem once things are personified.
Yeah,
and
you're right.
I'm fascinated by this too, because one of the things that's interesting about this is that is exactly what we do in order to get into a war with somebody. We depersonify them.
True. I never thought of it that way, but yeah.
Right? So effectively, like, oh yeah, we've got to go kill Colton. Colton is a horrible human being. He's been beating his girlfriend, and I know that he's slaughtered animals like cats. And you know what I mean? Like, we put you in a position where you are an animal, and it's clear that you are a creature that's has no soul. You know what I mean? Death to Colton. Oh boy, we've gotten Brent all riled up now.
Brent is
but I
ready.
mean, you know,
Let's go.
You're right. But that's what we do. It's exactly what we do, and it's not straightforward. But I've been seeing it in our politics too. You know, the liberals go towards racism and elitism when they try to talk about the opposing team, because that's inhumane. You're not a human if you're mistreating people because of the color of their skin or because of a sexual alignment or something like that.
You're not. I mean, the whole consensus of it is if you're treating anybody different than how you're supposed to be treating people, you're a bad person.
Right. So the idea
Which I think
is
is
that,
hilarious because that's actually most religions, and they didn't follow that.
But still, the point, of course, is that I've noticed how this works, and it's the same on the other way. The conservative side, it goes quickly to liberals aren't patriotic, which means they don't want to help protect the nation. They don't want to help protect our homes.
No, we want to unite the nations.
Right. But it's irrelevant what's really happening. It's the way that, because that's the way they see it. That's the perception. That's anytime you see rhetoric, that's the first place it goes.
Oh, I know.
And the rhetoric always goes to, and that's why I've become so cynical towards all stories about this, because I started to realize all they're doing is trying to turn us into animals so that they can justify terminating us or separating us or whatever,
Making one team the bad team.
Right.
That's what it's always been, though. Like, even back
Sure.
in, like, what was it, 30s to 50s, like, the Republican and Democratic Party were actually swapped on their ideals. And now they're the exact same, but they're just two different names now.
Well, yeah. I mean, obviously, politically, there's all kinds of stuff going on always.
But, I mean, they've always been fighting against each other. It's always been a two-party fight.
Well, yeah, it's because there's really only two types of people. The people who finish their sentences and
don't finish him.
No, I'm just messing with you.
I know. I was like, oh, you're going to do this to me. No.
I'm an evil person, and I know it.
You did exactly what I was like, oh, no.
And Colton's like, no, but I mean, like, really, in real life, there are two types of people. There are two types of people. We've got kind of the people who are that attribute the things that you see in the conservative side, and the people that attribute the things that you see in the liberal side. And there's two types of people, and most people, just like all human beings, are on the spectrum of some sort. So they're not exactly one or the other. And all of the politics just picks on it. They pick on the things. And it really kind of boils down to globalists versus nationalists in a lot of ways. Not literally.
I can see that.
But there are people who are fine working together with everybody in the world and yada, yada, yada. And then there are people who put their interests of the individual or their nation first, depending on how you look at it. And it's hard because I'm a globalist. So it's really hard to kind of parse this, because I can't seem to say all the attributes of the opposing side without it sounding like, there's really cool people like me, and then all those idiots over there. You know what I mean? Like, it's really hard to not make it sound like that.
I think it's the hardest
That's
part
kind of
to
one
do
of the
it.
reasons why I want to go to college, because there's got to be terminology. There's got to be a way to do this that does not sound like I'm denigrating the political right every time I say something, you know?
Right.
But there's a theory that I've got here on this that, you know, it is that there's definitely an alignment of people, because one of the things that fascinates me is the Japanese have a right and a left as well that is almost identical to ours.
Really?
And their political, and you know, it's so, I mean, like, what's happened, all the details, the nitty gritty details or whatever, that's irrelevant. What is fascinating to me is that their political right, which is not the same because they call it the left wing there, but their political right is the same as ours in that, you know, Japan should close itself down, stop dealing with the imports. Most of the problems that are coming in are because you have these impoverished Brazilians coming in that keep taking up space and they aren't contributing to the nation, and you know, da 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 da.
Yeah.
Same sort of arguments that we're hearing on our side,
Which we've been hearing those for
politically.
years too.
Right? And you know, and that kind of thing, and fiercely nationalistic and fiercely patriotic, and you know, that kind of stuff. And there's nothing wrong with patriotism, you know, and stuff like that. There really isn't. And that's, you know, of course, part of the problem is that it becomes, the symbolism gets screwed up, and that bothers me because, like,
That's
it's
always-
starting.
Like, sorry, go.
Oh, I was going to say, it's starting to become one of those things where, you know, the political left doesn't. Sexfind.pro. Pro. Find my private photos here.
Wow.
That's an explosion out on my
That's a
YouTube
nice
channel.
spot.
Yeah, right.
Go YouTube.
Right. Slam.
But I was going to say, actually, since we're at this point,
Wait. I want to see. I think I've got controls over that.
so like
Wonder if I can
symbolism.
control it.
When you say symbolism, though, is like that's the one problem I know a lot of people have with Americans. Like when they come here,
You're
just like-
block them.
you guys are very symbolized with everything. Like we always have our flag up, everything, blah blah blah. Like it's everywhere.
I nailed them. That's
Nice.
awesome.
You
In the
nailed
chat,
them.
I can nail their YouTube account in the chat function on the right side, not on screen, but in the chat function now. So,
nice.
wham! I nailed them. So,
Wow, thanks. Well, Brent,
Thanks,
jumped to 3 different
Brent.
platforms.
I nailed them anyway. It's all good. So symbolism, that's one of the things that bothers me, is because of the fierce symbolism, political left people are starting to not want to fly the flag as much. You know what I mean? Like,
You
because
can
it,
still be patriotic.
Yeah.
And not have a flag on the back of your truck.
well, yes, but on the same token, it ends up being a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Yeah, no, I get that.
Right?
I'm just saying that's the whole concept I have with it, though. Is like you don't need to be literally having it plastered
Yeah.
everywhere. And that's even what like a lot of the liberal side is now. There's like we don't have to be, you don't have to show patriots, be a patriot.
No, you don't.
Or at least the most liberals I know are kind of that.
But what's fascinating is we say the same arguments.
True.
Ta-da! Good job. We say the same arguments every time,
Yeah.
which intrigues me.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-oh. Okay, good.
Oh, that both parties are literally having the same arguments, just in different
We
words.
say the same things in different manners. So, for example, We'll say, hey, I shouldn't have to prove to you that I'm a patriot.
True.
And they say, I shouldn't have to prove to you that I'm not racist.
Yeah, that's fair.
Right? We say the same things. And it's interesting how those terminologies, those phrases, those lock phrases, and then from our point of view, yes, you do have to prove that you're not racist. And from their point of view, yes, you do have to prove that you're not patriotic or that you are patriotic. And what ends up happening is we become offended by that, and then we don't. And then when you don't back it up, then that proves that you are racist or you are not patriotic. You know what I mean?
Right. No, I get that now.
And that's also fascinating to me.
Right.
In a horrifying way, but fascinating.
And no, you're actually right. It is kind of fascinating because there's a lot of ways that you can't just show something right there and then.
Right. I can't show you I'm patriotic. How in the world would that work?
Right.
And on the same token, how could somebody technically show that they weren't racist?
So that's like the whole back in the day, the joke, of the prove that you're not gay, don't kiss Tom.
Right, exactly.
Like that concept is like, what? And that's kind of exactly what you're talking about. So I totally understand that.
Okay. Apparently, Alex will be pre-funking. I don't know what pre-funking means.
Who's Alex?
My buddy.
Oh.
For the game tonight, he just posted and said, I will be pre-funking. Okay.
Is he a bard?
Is he what?
Is he a bard?
I get. Actually, that is his character. Yes.
So he might be making funk music for the bard.
That may actually might be exactly what's going on. Come to think of it, his character, she might be doing something tonight, singing wise.
So
it could, in fact, you may have actually solved that problem, because that might actually literally be what he's doing is rigging up what Julie is going to do tonight. I tend to make Ivy just do things on a whim, because that's the kind of character she is. She's just like
sporadic, spontaneous.
She's that kind of bard.
Nice.
So there's no pre-funking with her. Oh, I see. Pre-drinking. Yeah, one of our guys goes, pre-funking implies the existence of post-funking. I haven't had a hangover since I was 6. What?
That's terrifying.
I think they're just being screwy now. I'm
That
pretty
sounds
sure
like
they're
it.
just screwing around. This is my friend group that, as I had just mentioned, has been around. I've been around for nearly 30 years. So at this point in time, God knows what they're really saying anymore. You know what I mean? Like we've been buddies for so long now.
We've done so much together.
Yeah, like it gets to the point where it's like, I don't know what the hell you guys are talking about, but I'll figure it out somewhere along the line, I'm sure.
It's all gonna come together someday.
It'll all make sense.
Someday over the rainbow.
But yeah, that is something that it's one of the things that's making me hesitate now about political things. Like, I don't want to, everybody's like, geez, if this guy likes Trump, then I'm not going to talk to him anymore. And I'm like, I can see that. However, I also know that there is a mechanic at work. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
There's a function, and I don't know whether it's intentional.
Mine was
or if it's just the way that the world works.
Right.
But whatever's happening, people on the political right, even though that I'm opposed to their function or to their belief systems and structures, I don't know if they're bad. I'm not ready to. I'm not saying that Trump's good. I'm just saying, if one of my friends says I'm pro-Trump, I don't necessarily go, "What? You're some kind of racist, elitist, blah 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 blah. I'm not hanging out with you anymore," and block them on Facebook.
Right.
Because I'm not 100% sure anymore.
Well, I was going to say the same thing. Like, I have to remind myself before all this happened, this was all still a thing. You just have to remind yourselves, like, oh, you're a Republican? F you. And everybody's like, wait, I have to remember myself. It's like, no, that's not how this works.
Right. I keep thinking about that because I've got a number of buddies whom I actually really like. I actually said this to a friend of mine yesterday because her husband is one that I love getting into arguments with. He's very right-wing. He's very Christian. He's an ex-pastor. And he and I, we'll get beers and we'll sit there and get into it. And we get into the fray. And for some reason, neither one of us ever get mad. We just get deep into, and we can get into abortion. We can get, you know what I mean? Like,
wow.
We can really get into it. And it has something to do with the fact that both of us respect one another and respect our sides. You know what I mean? It's not just respecting the person, but we don't ever go, "That's stupid." You know what I mean? Or anything like that.
No, that's me and my mother.
Yeah.
Because literally it's become now we're just going to agree to disagree right now. And I was like, we didn't even get into a conversation yet.
Right. And it's one of those things, and it's because I firmly believe that all of this is chatter.
Yeah.
Right? We're designed, and it's probably something pretty benign, or like, I know that conspiracy theorists believe that there's, some Illuminati or something like that going on. And I actually think it's pretty benign, relatively speaking. It's probably something to do with advertising.
Right.
People are making money and not realizing that it's causing a lot of damage.
Or they do know it's causing damage, but they know that they're making money off it.
Right. Well, one of the fundamental problems with capitalism is, when it comes to capitalism, in order to make money, in order to live, you must make money. Mm-hmm. And if you do not make money, you do not live. And that's a pretty compelling thing. And it's enough to compel you to do pretty unethical things, because you're reduced down to, do I die in order to do the right thing? And that's a hard one. Right? Because, I mean, like, how dedicated are you to your morals? Are you willing to die for them?
Right.
That
is a big question right there. Are you willing?
And that's part of the problem with capitalism. And it's not like capitalism's bad, but that's part of the problem with capitalism is we would get much more moral support if we had basic universal income. You know what I mean? Like, you'd get a lot more morality if you had basic. Because I'd get into a business and the business would be like, either you rob all of Brent's money or I fire you. And I'd be like, fire me. Go for it. I'll go back on basic for a while. I don't mind. You know what I mean? Like, that changes your morality quite quickly. And so that's one of the top-down arguments for basic is that we'd gain a lot more morality, because you could be moral. You could quit and go to basic for a while and just but all of your bills would get paid, your house would still be paid, your car would still be paid. You know what I mean? I'd be broke. I love having you and Brent here all the time because, like, I can keep saying, theoretically, I will now kill Colton. And Colton knows that I'm not talking about it seriously. I'm going to rob Brent. And Brent knows that I'm not, you know what I mean? I love that. That's one of my favorite things. So
It's a good one.
I finished this picture that you were talking about, this pose. I like this pose too. And she looks pretty cool there.
It's a good pose.
Turned out really nice.
There is no money to rob. I'd be broke.
Yeah.
I just assume it's a different goal. Then one day you're going to be behind me. I'll be like, oh no. He was blind.
Little knife coming up behind you. Dee, dee, dee. You're like, wait, what? Hey.
No.
How'd this happen? So, it cracks me out. Anyway. These things fascinate me a lot. This is why I think it's appropriate for me to be a cultural anthropologist.
Yeah, I can see that.
Because I think, realistically, this is something that I am. And the fact that this does interest me is important. And thank you for letting me just ramble.
Bruce. Of course. Any other topics you want me to get you on?
I'm supposed to stay away from EVs, though. I actually got yelled at this morning.
For what?
For that.
For EVs?
No, EVs, electric vehicles.
Oh. Who yelled at you for your electric vehicle?
My partner.
Isn't she the one that likes the electric vehicle?
She has one. It's not that. It's that I get on my soapboxes with her, and she's over the soapboxes.
Ah, that makes sense. Okay.
She's done with the soapboxes.
No more today. Like, okay.
I can't really blame her either. I'm horrible.
Like, I understand.
Yep.
Oh, I could have been doing that this whole time. No.
Oh, hey, I finished my 4-way stop animation yesterday.
Oh, nice.
I think I need to put all 4 cars come up at the same time so that I can make my bears comment.
Your bear's coming.
I told you about that yesterday, right? So when I tell the kids about the 4-way stop, so we're doing 4-way stops, and okay, when when 2 of you come up to the stop at the same time, X. When that Y, and then invariably I'm like, okay, guys. So what do you do when all 4 of you get to the stop signs at the same time?
Oh yeah.
And they all start looking at each other and scratching their heads. And I usually get one kid who's like, the person to the right goes. And I'm like, okay. The person to my right goes. The person to his right goes. The person to his right goes. I go. The person to my right goes. The person to his right goes. The person... And I'm like... And they go, oh... I don't know. And I'm like, okay, so you take the bears out of the trunk of your cars, put them in the intersection, and then have them fight. Whichever bear wins goes first. And I start that, and they, in the very beginning, the kids are always like, and then about halfway through, they're like, he's screwing with us. And you can like see it in their faces. It's like, he's messing with us.
Best.
That cracks me up. I love teaching kids. It's fun.
Like, ow.
He's messing with us. Damn it. Like, bears? What the hell?
What are you talking about? Where did we get bears?
Yeah, how did you get bears? Kids are great. Right, I was thinking that maybe when I do the animation, I might actually like have some bears in there.
That would be funny. They just start getting out of the trunk. They're like, wait a second.
Right. The official, and the only problem I've got is I don't think the other teachers would understand. So they'd be like, so here we go, because everybody's going to have a different style. All teachers do. So we're going to talk about four-way stops, and and then all of a sudden
they'll start playing that same
I'm not
animation.
sure why there's bears in this picture, but
Yeah. That's where I was about to say, you doing that part, they'd be like, wait a second.
Though funny, I think that everybody else would be like, but at least I can set it up.
Mm-hmm.
I was actually saying this the other day. I think I might want to make a little kitty cat that sits on the side of some of these animations and just licks his paw and stares at people, and you know what I mean, just to add some kind of cute humor to it. That non
random background character.
Yeah, random background cat. Nothing like that would make people go, "What the hell?" But give a little personality to it.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be fun. Oh, what would really suck?
If you were drawing on the wrong layer?
No. Although I did just check my layer, just in case. No, it'd really suck if I didn't save this.
Ooh,
after I just now realized
suck.
that we've been going for, 3 hours on this drawing? And yeah, it'd be really cool if I saved it. Oh, God.
Would definitely help.
Yep. 3 uniform service uniform layout. I don't know. That's right. Good enough. Yeah, my special video. This isn't Adobe, dude. Oh, have you seen the post from Clip?
Mm-mm.
They've been talking about their new version 2.
Their subscription basis?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
It's fascinating to me because it's not I can buy it outright. You can buy it outright version 2.
Do you just not get updates then?
No, you get updates. Or rather, well, I mean, you can either you can buy the updates, or well, what it is this: if you have version 1, you can just keep it.
The versions that we have
when version 2 comes out, you only get updates for version 1. You will not get any updates, obviously, for version 2. You can pay the one-time fee of about $60 and buy version 2 if you own version 1. Then you own it outright.
So an upgrade system.
Same thing if you're if you move to, or when they move to version 3, you will only get updates to version 2. If you're a subscriber, it's like $9 a month or something, so not bad.
$9 still isn't bad for everything.
Or whatever. I'm not 100% sure it's $9, but you get
wait, so is that for the whole suite or just
so
the
EX EX is the full version, if you will.
Right. Where you get the comic layouts and everything. Comic book breakdowns.
Yeah, the ability to do all of these things with the script writing and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So, anyway, so that's how they're going to do this, it looks like.
Okay. But
And so that's, well, I don't know if it's a but. I think that's
I've
actually
been
not.
waiting for you. I've been waiting for a but from you. I'm like, but
Yeah, no, I don't know. I'm actually not horribly opposed to this.
which kind of I'm not gonna lie, very quick. That surprises me because you were so against it with
I've been
Photoshop.
against it, and I've had time to sleep on it. So, kind of
Like I just
had
know
time to
how
kind of.
vocal you've been with the Photoshop side of it. I'm just like, but isn't that what they're doing right now, though? If that's what
Yeah,
it is?
and I understand where they're coming. So they're giving you the option to buy it outright, and I'm okay with that.
Right.
As long as I have the option to buy it outright, I don't mind.
That's true.
I was okay with Adobe being subscription based until it became the only way to deal with Adobe.
Right.
Then I wasn't so happy, and I don't mind. I mean, they've got $60 is what EX is to go up from this version of Clip Studio to 2.0 EX, and $60 is worth it. I've gotten far more than $60 worth of work out of this. I mean, heck, that's just 6 comics.
Right.
You know. So that's, I just sell 6 copies of those things over there, and we're good. We're fine.
Mm-hmm. You got a Saki.
I didn't hear any of that, so that's all right.
Oh, I was like, she's got a saggy booty.
Oh.
This girl I'm drawing. I just thought it was funny because, like, we were just talking earlier about these are boobs,
Right.
and Nora was like, as artists, I'm like, I'm doing this thing that artist was like, you got a saggy butt.
Saggy butt.
Just the things you notice while you're doing quick sketches on these, like, interesting.
I had that problem with that model at Memento Mori.
Yeah.
It was irritating because she was a lovely lady, but she was also the mother of 2, so her body was, had some rolls and some sags and nothing horrible at all. She was in great shape. She was lovely, but I've gotten so used to with manga art these almost anorexic women.
Yeah.
That when
That's
I
why I
started
love
drawing
like
her,
fat people.
I would start drawing her, and God, I just made her huge. And I was like, she's not this big. What's going on? And it had a lot to do with the fact that there's a difference between comic book women and real women. And it was so funny because I was like, it wasn't funny. It was frustrating. Super frustrating.
Right. That's what one of these.
But it made me really appreciate sort of the plight of a lot of women in our culture, because where I was book 2 is coming along fine, actually, oddly. I was working on that Tuesday so I take my kid to martial arts.
Incoming call from Maya.
Oh, hey, it's 12 o'clock. Good heavens.
Hang
Hang on
already?
a quick.
Oh no. Do your thing.
Hey, love. Oh, actually, I'm still broadcasting because I was just doing good. So I was still tootling along, so I was like, well, might as well just keep going. See if I can't finish this picture. So you might actually be able to call me at 1. So, okay, I will. Love you, bye. She's like, I know you were planning on going to bed early today. Taking your nap early. So, I'm trying really hard to take a nap every day so that I can keep up with my sleep.
There you go.
So, to answer your question, Brent, I was working on the sketches
Kitty wait.
for book 2. So that's cool. I'm still working on the page layout side of it. But yeah. Anyway. But yeah, since I did the rebuild of these cars for my driving school, and I made figures out of them, I have decided I'm going to redo the figures for the comic too.
I made that hand ginormous. There we go. Next.
Yep. Well, the animation work pays, so there's that. Speaking of pays, log back in and log out. So last night I did 2 hours worth of work for my company and forgot to log in. And fixing screwed up punches on the timesheet thing is a pain in the butt in this app. So messing up my clock in, clock out it's a major flaming pain in the butt. So instead, what I did was I just logged in this morning for 2 hours and worked for the company for the last 2 hours, but really didn't. So that way it made up for it, but that way I didn't have to go back and fix my punches and stuff like that. And God, I hate that thing. I hate their app. It's another one of those, let's make it super user unfriendly and then wonder why everybody gets it wrong.
Fair.
So, yeah, we're going to finish this page and then I'm going to call it for the day, but that way, because I'm going to go to lunch here somewhere along the line. So, anyway. Biggest problem. Yeah, well, and we're coming up on tabling. I'll be tabling, and I should at least try to finish the one-off and see if I can't get that printed in time. Because here I was sitting there going, I'm going to have 3 comics potentially by this comic or by this convention, and now I'm going to be like, I'm going to be lucky if I have 1. I also did not expect to be working for the driving school, which I think is very fun. Yeah, the Tankobon's going to be a while, though. Tankobon is 300 pages, so we've got some time before we get to that point. And now that I say that, I've been wondering whether I am somehow giving Brent the wrong idea of what the word Tankobon means. Because that might be my fault. Because the Tankobon is this guy. This guy's a Tankobon. So it's in this instance, he's got many chapters in here. So at some point, I want to do that.
Incoming call from an unknown caller.
Thank you. I don't actually need to. I don't need my plumbing and heating people to call at this point. All they really do is come out here and go, "Oh my God, you have your original furnace. You need to change that now." Every time. And then it's always, because it could die at any second. I'm like, well, yeah, but as soon as we replace the furnace, we're going to be replacing the furnace every, 5 years. It's all good. I'm not worried, man. I also use things interchangeably in weird terminology, so I don't think that's necessarily on you. Might be me. So anyway. Yeah, but there will be a Tankobon at some point. It's just that it'll be a ways down. I'm just actually pretty impressed that I can have the printer down the street make the Tankobon. Bob will make Tankobons. That's pretty cool in my book. I feel like I've lost Colton.
Sorry, I zoned out.
It's all good. I just want to finish this and then I can go to lunch. But I don't want to...
No, I saw that there's a new game coming out that I kind of want to play. Gotham Knights. It's instead of playing as Batman, you're playing as all the Bat Kids.
Is all the what?
The Bat Kids. Instead of Batman, you're playing as the Bat Children.
That's what I thought you said.
Yeah, Nightwing, Jason Todd, Lord Gordon's daughter, or niece.
Batgirl.
Batgirl, yeah. That's another good way to say it. And then you also have Amy and Wayne. Like, it's all the Bat Kids. I wonder if, because I'm actually wondering if we actually can play as Stephanie. That'd
That'd be kind of cool.
Eat your little slingshot.
Right?
That's what I was zoning off to when you said that.
That's fine.
I was like, what is this? I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot. I was like, oh, that's what they're doing with this. Got it.
And Robin.
And a Robin.
And a Robin.
Are all the Robin.
Yeah, and we have to kind of figure out which one of those things I want to do first. To what Brent's talking about. And I think the easiest thing to do would be to go through and do an edit on the tech manual so that I can print that, because that's like one show's worth of work, right? It just needs to, we need to go through the whole damn thing and make sure that all the spelling is correct, and maybe replace the, a couple of pictures here or there or whatever, but nothing needs to be made for it. It already exists. So that's probably our easiest. But I only have 3 copies of it left in the in the bad version. there are only 3 copies left, so it needs to be reprinted if I'm going to sell it. And Bob has quoted me a pretty decent price for that. That'll allow me to sell it at a pretty decent price on the table,
Nice.
even though it's full color. So
Nice.
anyway, that'll be that's a thing that needs to be dealt with.
Also, Lightbox just started too, so I've been keeping up with everything that's going on there today.
With Lightbox?
Mm-hmm. The artist conference in Pasadena.
Oh, okay.
Comic book artists, industry artists, in like film, animation, games, all that stuff.
Yeah.
And that's kind of why they're all posting stuff right now in their Discord, and I've been trying to keep up with that too. That's why I'm like kind of semi-zoned in, semi-zoned out.
It's okay. You don't have to
Because
stay
I was
with
supposed
me.
to be there this weekend. That's why my day's off for right now. But my plans all got derailed.
As they often do.
I was waiting for one person to get back to me on room and board, and they never did. So I didn't buy any tickets, which is fine. I really wanted to go, but it's fine.
It wasn't me, so at least that's a plus. On my side. Not a plus on yours, but a plus on mine.
What?
That I'm not the one that didn't get back to you.
Oh, yeah.
I
No, they were
lived-
like, hey, I got all this stuff going on in like May, and I'm trying to get all this stuff planned out before then. And I'm like, that's cool. Like, I'll let you know after May. And literally, I even tried to talk to them, and everything's just been crickets. I'm like, all right, whatever. I was like, I was willing to pay you guys a certain price instead of trying to find a hotel, which was like, it was like $200 to $300 a night. Being in Pasadena, around that area, and I was just like, I don't want to spend that.
Right.
Go to something that I'm only going for networking, and it's not a guarantee that I'm actually going to be able to network properly. You know?
Mm-hmm.
Especially to a convention I've never been to, and I'm like, I'll justify it later. But like I was talking to one of my other friends who lives down southern-ish LA. He's like, it's like a 30-45 minute drive for me. I was like, oh.
Right.
A schoolie? What's a schoolie?
It's his school bus. He wants to get a school bus and convert it into a
Oh,
mobile home.
yeah. I do remember. Okay. Yeah, we did have this conversation.
Never pay for hotel rooms again. It's actually kind of what I want to do with my VW bus.
Mm-hmm.
Since it'll be electric, I won't even have to pay for gas.
That would be nice.
Oh, hey, Brent, did you see the the electric bus conversions that they're doing now, taking school buses and they're converting them into electrics.
That's cool.
It is. No dropping things. No dying.
I freaked out. I was dropping things.
Okay, this is the last one, guys. Last picture. It was good because I am getting definitely hungry. But if this is done, then I'm out for the day, and that's okay.
Going back a little bit, by the way, to like when people treat you differently or whatever because of blah 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 blah.
What?
With the whole Republican Democrat thing, where they're like very right. You were saying that you had a friend that's like super right, but like you guys actually will have conversations and actually talk it out.
Yeah.
One of the people I have do not. Like literally, we were starting a conversation because I posted a picture, and we were like all good about it. They're like, "Oh yeah, no, what? You know what this is?" I'm like, "Yes." Like when the definition, the whole definition was on polyamory.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, "Do you know what polyamorous means?" I was like, "Yes, it's when you have two or more partners within a relationship." And I was like, then I hit them up. I was like, "Why are you asking me this randomly? That's a random question." Then they come back and it's like, "Well, your post." I'm like, "My post? I don't post anything about polyamory. What are you talking about?" And then apparently, a picture I took from someone else was from a polyamorous site, and it said polyamorous in the top corner. And I was like, "Okay, why is this a thing?" And they're like, "I just wanted to make sure there's something I just didn't know about you." And I was like, "Okay, yes, I have partaken in a polyamorous relationship before." I also found out this is not something I'm into.
Right.
And then instantly they can be derailed. They're like, "You're turning into your father or this person," and blah blah blah. Like really just went crazy off it. And I was like, apparently you did not read the full context of that conversation. All right.
Well, and that's the thing. There are people out there who it's very important to their worldview that you match their worldview.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's very important to their identity that the people they hang out with match their identity. Whatever their identity is.
And
that's tribalism. That's our normal tribalism that we have run into quite a bit in our world, and that's not uncommon for humans.
Right.
One of the things that I believe about human beings is that the thing that makes us different than animals is the fact that we can override this.
True.
So we don't have to suffer from tribalism. We don't have to do that. And we have over the years worked pretty hard specifically to prove we're not animals.
Right.
That's why we eat with utensils and on plates, and I mean, yes, some of it's also because it's easier and better, but still. That was part of where civilization comes from. Why you're not supposed to put elbows on the table and stuff like that. It's not just an affectation of being rich. It's a sign that you're not an animal. And I didn't finish her legs over here. And so it's very important to people sometimes to be, but Colton, you're on my side. You're the same kind of person, therefore you follow the same moral pattern that okay, but you don't gotta,
but I've never been that person.
Right.
That was always the thing I always think is funny. I'm like, you have this idea of who I am in your head, and it's not true.
Yeah, but that also sounded like that was a friend of your parents.
Oh, it was my parents.
It was a friend of your parents or your parent.
It was my mom.
Your mom.
She does this all the time. She's like, "Oh no, I'm very open-minded." I'm like,
But really, it's the Thor thing. Are you really?
yeah. I love her to death, but it is definitely one of those that I know where she's at more than she is.
Well, it's like my dad. My dad, he was pretty open-minded. I'm not going to say he wasn't. But he also had a lot of weird that he would do from time to time. That he didn't know he was doing, but he did.
Mm-hmm.
Every time I talked about loving really bright colors and things like that, he was like, I don't know, I think you're part Mexican. And I'm like, what does that mean exactly? And he thinks it's disarming. He thinks it's not, but the point is that he's trying to get me to decide that maybe I shouldn't be bright colors. And I'm kind of glad he never realized that gay people tend to be glittery and bright too. Because I think in the 80s that might have really worked on me. Today it would have just annoyed me. But if in the 80s he kept saying, are you gay? Because you're sure bright and colorful. You know what I mean? That probably would have really gotten under my skin at some point in the 80s because that was bad. We were all trained that being gay was bad. And so that would have definitely gotten a response out of me that would not have been positive. Today I'd be like, I don't care, I could be gay, that's fine. And he'd be like, what?
I am still married, by the way, Dad.
Yeah. Although Dad had said that was one of his worries that luckily he didn't have to worry about as time went on. He said he always said, I was always worried you were gay, not for the reasons that you'd think. But in the 70s, people who were gay were getting killed.
Right.
And so I was horrified that you'd be gay and then we'd have to defend you all the time because somebody would be trying to kill you all the time. He said, it's gotten better, and at least now you could be gay without people trying to kill you off all the time.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not, he's like, it's not perfect yet, but it's much better. And he said, so I'm not as worried about my grandson being gay as I was about you being gay, because I had said
Which
at one
he
point
actually words it though in a better, like, yeah, it sucks that you have to think that way, but I mean, in his sense, he's like, I was more worried that I would have to defend you because you would be being attacked.
Right, which in those words, his statement was straight up, I would defend your butt.
Yeah.
I mean, he was saying it. He was saying it outright. He was like, we would have to defend you and protect you.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I kept saying, sometimes I think people misread things said in different ways. And that's one of the examples that I like to pull out, because his statement was, society sucks towards gay people, and I'd have to protect you against people trying to beat you up. But the way he says it is, I was worried you were going to be gay. You know what I mean?
Because he doesn't finish off the sentence.
Right? So if you just listen to what he started with there, you could see how people would go, well, Like,
I thought it was funny because, like, in that same sense, though, like my mom specifically.
Sorry.
She.
It's compulsive.
It was 2019, 2020, right before I was getting ready. I was trying to move out to California at that time, out to San Francisco, before pandemic. And she literally came to me, was like, I hope when you go out there, you don't come back gay. And I was like, wow.
What?
Mom. Wow. She's like, well, it's just that kind of city. And I was like, no, what do you really mean by that? She's like, it's just that kind of city. I'm like, it's that kind of... Why? Because they're open? They're open about it? They do their thing? Like, I really don't understand where you're coming from with this one.
Right.
Like, I knew where she was coming from. It was me just trying to get her to openly admit it.
Admit that she believes that gay is not a biological function, but a choice.
Yeah. And not even just that, just getting her to admit that she's not into her kids being gay.
Right. Well, that's the thing. You have to admit that you believe that being gay is a choice, not biological. Like, I have to. If you do that, you have to admit. You have to say, "I think you choose to do it." You know. At which time, you're back to, because that's the justification. Again, with the dehuman, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you find out that homosexuality is biological, then it's really not fair to say, I don't like you because you're gay. And
Right.
most of society understands that. So in order to make homosexuality bad and acceptable to discriminate, we have to make it into a choice that you made that's disruptive to society and hurts people and is evil. You know, we have to turn it into a choice you decided to be gay. And that's the whole point. So it's all part of dehumanizing.
Oh, yeah. Which is funny because then I bring it back on her with that, though. It's like, what would you do if I did come back today?
Right?
What would you do, Mom? And then she just kind of goes, like, you just see her just like start throwing air quotes.
Right. Well, and that's the problem. Like, that's
But it's
the
also
issue.
me, like, trying to tell her. It's like, I don't know why, like, personally for me, it's like, I don't care. In that sense, I'm like, all right, cool. You like dick, you like dick.
You're right.
You
That's
don't,
on
you
you,
don't. That's pretty much how I always look at it. And for her, I just know it's not a thing in her brain. But like me actually trying to get her to admit to it, I was like, what are you gonna do if it does happen?
Yeah.
What are
Suppose
you
it
gonna
was.
do if this happens to my brother? Like, I'm completely supportive. Are you going to be?
Well, and that's because you, like me, believe that this is not a choice, it's an affectation. And even if it was, I've got a buddy who's gay, and I had said at one point in time, I said, wouldn't it be good for us to discover it was biological? And he said, no. I said, why? And he said, because it shouldn't be a problem even if it was a choice.
Yeah.
It's none of your business even if it was. And I was like, man.
I can dig that.
Yeah, I'm like, suddenly I was like, damn, he's not wrong. I mean, it's like, it's a choice for me to be a Trekkie. If you decided you hated me because I was a Trekkie, I'd be like, well, yeah, well, screw you too, you know? I mean, it's like, but that's a choice. It's most definitely a choice.
It is what it is.
I wasn't born a Trekkie.
Or were you?
Or was I? Maybe I was.
You weren't born with your Starfleet uniform on?
No, but I figure I probably will die that way.
Yeah.
They will
I
probably.
feel like that's the
bury
one thing
me.
I always keep trying to, like, I even told her, like, not her, but I was telling one of my friends about this. I'm like, if my mom tells my brother, I think it's going to be funny. Because my brother's going to be like, okay, cool. That's totally up Colton's character. He does things to experience them. It's totally up his character.
Right.
Like, that's who he is. Like, he's like, I don't know if I like that. I'm going to go try it, though. I'm going to see if I like it or not. Come back? Nope. Or, hey, that was great. I enjoyed this.
Yeah. I only had one threesome, and I didn't like it. It was not any fun. It was too complicated, too difficult.
They are. And I don't really like doing them either because of that reason. It's too much work.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, Brent, that's exactly what I said. I keep saying to my kiddo
Nice.
is, you know, well, it's been a thing that we've talked about with my kiddo since the beginning, You may like guys or you may like girls. We don't know. You're too young yet to know whether that's an option of any sort. You may not like either. That may be an option too.
I mean, that's
Who knows?
That's what that whole saying is like. A lot of people, they don't know what they like until they go to college, because that's when a lot of people start experimenting.
Yeah, well, it actually starts in junior high if you're open to it.
It is. It does.
It'll start in junior high if you're open to it. If you are freaked out about everything, then you won't experience anything until you get to a spot. But
like a lot of the kids that I went to school with, they weren't allowed to do a lot of stuff because it was a charter school, so a lot of parents ran the school.
Right.
So a lot of them, as soon as they went into college, I was like, oh, you guys are experimenting with this now. Oh, that's cute. Like, I thought it was funny. I was just like, wow.
Sure. Well, and that's the thing. I mean, that's like totally what's, the widget here that we're dealing with is, kids will do what kids do.
Oh, yeah.
That's not going to change anything, And so for me, I'm sitting there going, eh. So the way I talk to my kiddo is, hey, we've done this from the very beginning. You may like boys or girls. We don't know yet.
Right.
That's the way I generally put it with him is, we don't know yet. We'll get there.
You might like both.
You might like both. You might like neither. We haven't gotten to that stage yet.
That is
when we do, you'll find out. Yeah. So, but that's the best way to handle it as a parent.
Mm-hmm. No, I like what you're saying. That's actually a good way to handle it.
That's the way I think. I mean, I'm like, it's not going to change anything.
I'm still going to love you.
Yeah, well, that's a given. But moreover, I don't believe that I'm making my child gay by doing this or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, no, a lot. So.
Right. No, I just more like, I just laugh because of.
She's asking for trouble is what she's doing there, yeah.
Yeah, she's asking for trouble, but it's also like laughing at her too because it's who she always says she's not her mother.
Oh yeah,
she actually is her mother.
She actually is. Man, that's hard. I understand.
And that's why it's always the funny part is because they always tell me I'm turning into my father. And then I literally just like, am I really? And then I lay it all out for them. They're like, okay, I do.
Maybe not.
Like, you're focusing on this one tiny little thing that makes you think that of my father, but it's also the only reason you guys say that is to get under my skin.
Right.
And it's not actually to be like, hey, you're actually him. No, we're just going to say it so you stop doing it.
Right. Warning, Will Robinson, yeah.
I just think it's hilarious. It definitely did make me mad for a second. What do you see?
Oh, yeah.
And I thought about it. I was like, no, you're scared.
Yeah, you're just trying to get my goat. Legit? Aw, man. Fine.
What?
Oh, it just trimmed it, and I don't want it to trim it. That's all. I was like sitting there going, really?
Right.
So I'm sealing it up so that I can do a fill. Because some of these just end.
We got shadow there. Shadow here. Shadow in here. Shadow here. Quick block out. I would show this, but there's a lot of nude on it.
There's a lot of nakedity.
That's how I was like, I'm just going to put my screen up.
It's all good. Oh, did I ever show you my my mosaic?
No.
Check this out. Look at that.
So
Isn't that cool? So
Do that again?
there. So there's my mosaic. Now, when I have my comics up, there's an extra strip here of comics. But the idea, of course, is that you can still somewhat see what's going on under there. See?
Oh, I see what you're doing now. Oh, okay.
So you can see kind of under there. But that way I can draw nipples and pubic hair and all kinds of crap, and people aren't going to go, So,
Got it.
yeah, I set it up. And it's in OBS, so it's not actually covering my screen. It's over here in OBS, so you guys cannot see me, but it's not impacting my actual drawing, which makes me happy. Because I'm already annoyed that drawing nipples is enough to cause apoplexy and all kinds of people. You know, it's already aggravating to me. All right, so what I have now done...
Like my first new modeling class, I walked in, and it was a naked guy, and I showed up late on accident. And there's a naked guy just standing there, balls out and all, and I was like, all right, cool, this is what we're doing today.
Yeah, I mean, it is ridiculous that... I mean, like, I was thinking about that the other day. I was thinking about, you know, you had brought up that site.
Yeah.
And... You know,
I actually paid for it. It's actually really cool.
That's cool.
After I got in there and started messing around in there, I was like, oh, this site is actually totally worth $40.
Right. But you'll notice, interestingly enough, there are no nude children in there.
True.
Which I thought
I
was...
agree with.
I don't disagree. However, somewhere along the line, you got to draw them for whatever reason.
I was in the same boat when I thought about it, but at the same time, like, still kind of my uncomfortabilities right there.
Yeah, I mean, it would be uncomfortable for me. I have to admit, if I mean, other than the fact that, of course, my child is nude all the time because he's a goofball.
Right.
But
I mean, that's, I guess in my sense, though, at that same time, like, now you say that, though, it's like, yeah. The whole point about being an artist, too, is, like, breaking those uncomfortability boundaries.
And being able to accurately represent it. There once was a time where we had a job. We had a task as artists. Like, we had to do medical documents and stuff like that, and it was our job. And I keep thinking about that, how...
Oh, yeah, isn't that why, like, Da Vinci used to be a grave robber?
Yeah, oh, that's what they used to rob graves all the time because of that. But that kind of thing, part of the problem is the presumption of this. Right. It's one of the things that actually is kind of nice about Daz. You can get, it's hard, but you can get variations of models that are younger and less developed and things like that in case you do need them. But every time I ask about it, you know, where are these things? The first 3 posts are, why, are you a pedophile? And it's always that. And it's like, no, I'm not. I have work to do. Well, why do you need to draw nude people, huh? Like,
why don't you if you're an artist?
Yeah, what difference does it make? You know? It's like, what's it to you?
Mm-hmm. I'm right there with you.
I mean, like, when Raph and I were having a discussion about Chang, he's like, we were really worried at first because Chang looks really young, and I know you've been talking about nudity with her, and I'm like, again, what's it to you? You know? And that wasn't where Raph was going, but his comment was sort of a...
The way he was wording it at the beginning?
Well, what he was saying was, you know people are going to misuse your comic.
Right.
And I'm like, that's on them, not me.
Right.
You know what I mean? And then his other thing was, you know people are going to misunderstand your comic.
They always will.
And I'm like, you know what? That's, again, on them, not me. And it needs to be. The discussion, yes, we need to protect our children, absolutely. But the presumption that if you are even thinking about anywhere near unclothed children, then clearly you're a pedophile. Instead of, because I mean, that still implies, even in that same thing, it's still not good whenever we talk about you and I going to fully adult, the model is adult. What do you think we're doing there? You know what I mean? Like, that's the question. If you think that me looking at a picture of a naked child is sexual, then what do you think is happening when I'm drawing these full, like 40-year-old women? What do you think I'm thinking? You know what I mean? Like, what's the implication there?
Mm-hmm. No, I'm right there with you.
Yeah, the artist is never understood until after they have moved on to the next plane of existence. It's because they're a threat while they're still alive.
I like that. Okay.
I mean, it really is. It's because
you're
we're
right.
a threat while we're still alive.
We break the mold for everybody. That's why.
We totally.
What they want from society. We artists in that break that because like no, that's not like we're curious about the actual things.
Oh, look at that. Look at that. Oh, that's beautiful. As in, I sealed every watertight hole. Kick ass. On the first try, folks. On the first try. Because I'm awesome.
Because I'm awesome.
Just saying. Check it.
All right, cool. I can just start painting now.
All right. I think I am out. I think I am done McDunny pants. I know that I've got to go to a game tonight, and then tomorrow night's my best friend's birthday, and so I won't be back here at the workshop until Sunday night. And I don't want to be screwing around. I want to finish this. So I don't want to be messing around with this. I want this out the door. So, but yeah. Hey, look at that. Look at all these gray areas that are gray. Which means she was watertight the entire time. Yeah. Dig it. I hate it whenever I have like random leaks and you're like, we're gonna go find this stupid leak. I don't want to find a leak.
Oh, did I go backwards?
Probably did.
I did.
Okay, I'm gonna go to lunch. Thanks for joining me, Colton.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Thanks for joining me, Brent. It's good to have you here. So, yeah, we got work done.
Okay.
Right. And we talked about interesting things.
Yeah, we did.
Always good. So,
Sweet.
Coolio. I'm actually still like poking holes. Like, oh, hey, I can open that up. Deselect.
Oh yeah, it's finding little holes like that.
Yeah, I'm just like finding little holes in here and like, like right there. That's good.
Mm-hmm.
Right there. All right, I gotta go because I think that's my wife saying, "Are you done yet?"
I want to talk to my husband.
So many jokes that I can make about that right then and there, and like all I can think of is, does she say that often? And I'm burning myself there on that one. So
Oh yeah.
I'm into. So just so you know, the next time I burn you.
Oh, I burn myself all the time.
Right, I was going to say, just so you know, I burn me as well. If it's an opportunity, I cannot not do it. I'm just that way. Okay, my guys, I'm going to go get food. I'm dying. I'll talk to you all later. Bye-bye.
Have a good night. Hey.